My brother Hank, Henry Chester Klinger, was the first American casualty in the Vietnam War in 1970. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Benbrook, it's with deepest sorrow that I extend to you the sympathy of the men of the 2nd Battalion, 1st Infantry for the loss of your son, Henry. He was killed on New Year's Day, 1970.
Christmas ain't much of a day over here. It's pretty hot and everybody's just laying around sort of thinking about home. I tell you, when you get over to a place like this, you appreciate the little things that you do have. You really just don't, you just can't imagine how easy you have it at home. And I tell you, when I get back to the world, I get back to the family and to other people, and they start griping about little things, I may have a few words to say about them. You really can't put the meaning, the feeling into words, exactly what it feels like. Everybody worries about little things like getting here on time, getting there on time, and all the guys over here say when they get back to the world they're not going to have a thing to worry about. I know some of the guys around there that the way they talk, and when they start talking about being over in Vietnam and whether we should pull troops out and all that, you all want to ban the bomb. There's no real war, you say, in Vietnam. It's quite a price to have to say, not to live another day. He had the price to fight and die. He paid the price, but what'd he buy? He bought your life by losing his, but who gives a damn what a soldier gives?
When my mom died and started going through everything, and I ran across this box of stuff that was all stuff to and from Hank. Letters about his death, letters from the government, letters from the Army. I just started really questioning everything. I realized when I was a kid, I really had no resolve for it myself, probably because I was so young. Nobody felt like they had to really console me necessarily. So I've always had a lot of questions. I've always felt very sad about it. And I ran across one letter from a guy named Barry with no last name. The letter that was written said that Hank was killed. I was with them. Nobody really seemed to know who he was. I just wondered if this guy was alive and whatever happened to him, and what a horrible, sad situation for him. I just kind of became obsessed with finding out who he was. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. You know, I did what I've done in the past many times, and I started looking up Hank's name and just trying to see what was out there on the internet. And I ran across a website that had a picture of him, and some guy named Barry wrote on it saying something about it's been 40 years, I remember being with you when you died. And so I contacted the website and I said, I don't know who this guy is, but he obviously knew my brother, and I just want to hug him for being there for my brother. And then Barry contacted me.
It kind of just started this whole process. And now I get to meet her today and meet Lina, her sister. And, oh man, it gives me chills. And to be a part of one another's lives, it's like I was so divorced from that for so many years, and the moment is now, is coming.
Meeting Barry, I think, has really brought up a lot of questions for my family, and has opened them up to talking about Hank and to wanting to heal, which a lot of them didn't even realize they weren't.
And this was when we graduated infantry training. That's me. Hank took the pictures, it's his camera. This picture of this house burning. I went inside that house before I set fire to it and took some items from there. This is a children's school book and a brass vase. I don't know the significance of it, but they would have all been lost in that fire. They would have burned to the ground, and I just took them. And I've held them, I felt guilt about it, but the people that were in there, I rounded up with aiming my rifle at them, a mother and her 2 kids, and I felt a lot of guilt about that. And I don't know what I could do with that. Try and return it or something. I don't even know who I would give it to. That village is destroyed. We killed every animal in there. We destroyed everything. I'm sorry to tell you this. And that stuff I've carried with me for a long time. And I would go back to Vietnam if I could see the people that are living a good life and have moved past the horrors that occurred during this war, you know. I think it'd be healing for me. I really would. And someday I'll do that.
I'm really excited about our relationship growing and going back to Vietnam with Barry, retracing the steps of what happened that night. I think will give him, myself, and many others closure.